Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and this is my post-market wrap-up for this Wednesday, February 13th, 2019. You know, I get a crazy amount of email every day, but today is one of those days that almost, let me put it this way, unbelievable the amount of email and comments, not all of them good, that I got today with regard to this border wall funding issue. Did President Trump score a win here? Did President Trump cave here? I want to talk about that a little bit because, again, of the overwhelming amount of feedback I got. But let's start off with this. I don't even know how to put this into the proper perspective. There is a state of delirious euphoria. That's the only other way I can think about putting this with regard to the epic spending spree, off the Richter scale spending spree that the United States is on currently. As a matter of fact, we just hit 22 trillion plus in debt here in the United States. Less than a year ago, we were at 21 trillion. We are on pace to outspend every single other president in history in the shortest period of time. Now, this is not exclusive to President Trump, so calm down. Every president, and I have covered this before, has to outspend the last guy just to maintain where we are. People are ignoring this. In other words, it seems that debts and deficits, which are exploding right now, don't matter. I frankly don't understand why the Federal Reserve just doesn't issue every citizen here in the United States, including you, $1 million. Maybe that would just be the greatest thing they could possibly do at this point. I'm obviously kidding here, but it really does not seem to matter to anyone. There is this state of euphoria here. It's incredible, and no one cares about debts exploding, deficits exploding. Again, we are on pace here for this to accelerate moving forward. So what does that mean? Bet against the debt, become your own central bank. The governments around the world, not just here in the United States, and world central banks are in bed together, and they are going to continue to inflate, making the central banks even stronger than they are now. Again, their product is debt. That's all they issue, debt. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become, period. They are creating legions of slaves, countries that are enslaved to their central bank, and that's just the way it is. So we know what to do here for the long run. It's been my biggest call since I sat down in front of a computer and started talking about this stuff here. All right, so with that said, understand it's some kind of a delirious euphoria that we are engaging in with regard to debts, deficits, spending, off the Richter scale. No one wants to rein it in. It's unbelievable, but it's the distraction. Pay attention to the wall. Pay attention to other dog shit things. You know how it is. Anyway, let's talk about a few other things. Let's start off with the wall. And I'm going to talk about some of the feedback I got here and maybe put my 2 cents in. So there are many people here that feel that this was a cave, big time. President Trump was asking for $5.7 billion. He settles for a fraction of that. Okay, I got it. However, look, I'm not making excuses here for the president. I'm not going to sit here and do that. He can certainly take care of himself. And I don't want to be attacked for what I'm about to say. But I want you to think about what I'm about to say. And maybe I'm absolutely wrong, but maybe I have a point here. All right. The president asked for $5.7 billion for the wall. He's getting 1.4. Is it possible that he grossly overstated the amount he actually wanted because he knew he wasn't going to get anywhere near it? So he got the 1.4, maybe part of a negotiation tactic? again, I'm not saying this was his plan. He did scream from rooftops about $5.7 billion. He got 1.4. The deal isn't even signed yet, but it looks like it's going to be. But again, is it possible, and maybe I'll present it as a question, that this is all he really wanted? He puts out a big number, like if you were negotiating for like a car. You put out a big number and then you counter it with a low ball number. You know, you don't know. We don't really know, but it's possible. So with regard to that aspect of the keeping the government open and funding for the wall, again, please understand, I'm not making an excuse for the president. But maybe this is all he really wanted. And I know I'm going to get feedback out of it. No, absolutely not. But maybe you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just making a statement here that maybe this is all he wanted as part of a negotiation tactic. I don't know what to tell you, but that's just what I'm throwing out here. Now, with regard to China and the president's backtracking on putting up a deadline, this here I don't like. I can't imagine how he would use that as a negotiation tactic, you know, moving lines like this. Maybe it is too. I don't know, but it just looks weak to me. And again, I'm just telling you my take on it. If you want to attack me for telling you what I believe, that's fine. Go ahead. But I'm just telling you that I think it looks weak. I think it looks like appeasement to me with China moving goalposts here. And China's going to take full advantage of it. I don't see how this is a good strategy with China. I just don't at this point. Maybe there's some other grand plan here. But I don't see it. It looks like the president only wants to push more cash into the stock market here and floats out story after story. Let me say this. If it turns out that, let's say, in a couple of weeks, we find out that this is another piece of fake news, I can't tell you how upset I'm going to be regarding. I will be upset, and I will let all of you know how upset I am. So anyway, let's just summarize here real quick. So anyway, the debts, the deficits exploding, delirious freaking euphoria. No one gives a damn here. No one wants to rein in spending. We're addicted to it. And is there going to be a terrible price to pay? I believe there is. This is why I still say the best trade on earth is to bet against the debt and become your own central bank. With regard to this market, it's completely fake. It's being pulled in every direction you can imagine, and a lot of this is because of the China trade. I don't believe it's so much to do it, maybe a little bit, with regard to keeping the government open and funding for the border wall. Now, with that said, again, he asked for $5.7 billion. He's getting 1.4. It is possible that that's all he really wanted. It is possible, and we need to consider that. All right. Again, I'm not making excuses here. I'm just throwing it out. So please don't attack me for just saying this. I'm just throwing out an idea, and that's that. Now, with regard to China, I'm very unhappy about this this backtracking here. I think the president should have stuck to his guns on this and not look like he's trying to appease them, to bring them to the negotiating table. I think I would say that's straight out, at least at this point, is a huge mistake. So let me ask you here, in light of what I said, with regard to the wall funding, is this a victory for the president? Seriously? And or is he really caveman? What do you think here? And consider what I said. Consider what I said. Asked for $5.7 billion. He gets 1.4. Maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe he really did cave. I don't know. And again, I'm just throwing this out here. I want to hear from you. You guys and girls are what really matters here. It's not me. Anyway, with that said, I do love all of you, and I will read the comments. Where does our president stand here in your view, honestly? And I'm so curious to read the comments later. See you in the morning.